October 2nd, 2021. Somewhere in the disputed and highly volatile waters of the South China Sea, a ghost was hunting. The USS Connecticut, SSN-22, a $3 billion Seawolf-class nuclear attack submarine, was gliding through the depths in total silence. She is the apex predator of the ocean, designed to be invisible, lethal, and unstoppable. But at 2 p.m. local time, the silence was shattered by a bone-jarring thud. A massive impact sent shockwaves through the 350-foot hull, throwing sailors across decks and crushing the submarine's specialized sonar dome like parchment paper. The alarms screamed, but there was no torpedo launch detected. No enemy submarine was in the vicinity. According to the official charts, there was nothing but open water for miles. So, in the pitch-black silence of the abyss, what did the Connecticut hit? For weeks, the Pentagon remained silent. When they finally spoke, they called it an uncharted seamount, an underwater mountain that didn't exist on any map. But for the investigative minds at Trench Waters, that answer only raises more chilling questions. How can the most advanced military on Earth, with satellites that can read a license plate from space, be blind to a mountain in the middle of a conflict zone? Was it a tragic navigational error, or was the Connecticut lured into a trap designed to break the unbreakable? To find the truth, we have to understand the terrifying reality of the invisible map. We have better maps of the surface of Mars than we do of our own ocean floor. That is the chilling reality of the deep. While GPS and satellites govern our lives on land, they are useless once you drop below the waves. Water blocks electromagnetic waves, leaving submarines in a world of acoustic shadows. The USS Connecticut was navigating blind, a standard practice for stealth. To remain hidden, a submarine cannot use active sonar, which sends out a ping that reveals its own location. Instead, they rely on passive sonar, listening for others while moving through pre-charted digital maps. But the South China Sea is a geological nightmare. It is home to thousands of seamounts, underwater volcanoes and mountains that rise thousands of feet from the abyss. Many of these have never been surveyed. When the Connecticut hit that object, it wasn't a failure of the crew, it was a failure of the map. Imagine flying a jet at 500 miles per hour through a mountain range in the thick fog, using a map from 100 years ago. That is what it's like to pilot a Seawolf-class submarine. A seamount can be missed by a survey ship by just a few hundred yards, and to a submarine moving at high speed, that tiny error is a death sentence. The ghost mountain that claimed the Connecticut was a reminder that the deep ocean remains the last great frontier, a place where nature can still humble the most advanced technology ever devised by man. But was this really just a natural obstacle, or was the seabed itself being manipulated? The Seawolf class was never supposed to break. Built during the twilight of the Cold War, these submarines were the ultimate answer to Soviet naval power. They are faster, deeper diving, and quieter than any other attack sub in the U.S. arsenal. The USS Connecticut was the crown jewel of this elite trio. But even a $3 billion Titan has a glass jaw, its sonar dome. Located at the very front of the vessel, the dome is a sensitive composite structure designed to house the submarine's eyes and ears. To function, it must be transparent to sound, which also makes it the most fragile part of the ship. When the Connecticut struck the seamount at high speed, the impact was catastrophic. The sonar dome was pulverized, leaving the submarine's advanced sensors exposed to the rushing current. The ballast tanks, the lungs of the ship, were damaged, forcing the crew to perform a harrowing emergency surfacing. For the U.S. Navy, the sight of the Connecticut limping into Guam with its nose torn off was more than an engineering disaster. It was a $3 billion embarrassment. The apex predator had been neutralized by a pile of rock. It exposed a terrifying paradox. The more advanced our technology becomes, the more vulnerable it is to the raw, unmapped power of the Earth itself. How could a vessel capable of tracking a single screw turn of an enemy sub from miles away fail to see a mountain directly in its path? In the world of high-stakes espionage, there is no such thing as a coincidence. The South China Sea is the most monitored, most contested, and most dangerous body of water on the planet. It is a place where China is building artificial islands and claiming the seafloor as its own. While the U.S. Navy maintains that the Connecticut hit a natural seamount, some experts point to a darker possibility: subsurface denial. In recent years, China has been deploying thousands of underwater sensors and smart sea mines across the region. Could it be possible that the Connecticut didn't hit a mountain, but an intentional, unmapped obstacle? Think about the strategic advantage. If you know the secret paths U.S. submarines take to avoid detection, you don't need to sink them with a torpedo. You just need to place something in their way, a massive concrete block or a tethered deep-sea trap. In the high-speed silence of the abyss, a stationary object is more lethal than a moving missile. The Chinese government was surprisingly quick to mock the U.S. over the accident, demanding full disclosure of the mission. Was their confidence born from the fact that they knew exactly what was on that invisible map? Whether it was a natural mountain or a man-made trap, the message was clear. The deep ocean is no longer a safe haven for American stealth. It is a digital minefield where the ground itself can become a weapon. The repair bill for the USS Connecticut is estimated to be in the hundreds of millions, and she won't be back in the water for years. But the real damage isn't to the steel, it's to the illusion of total undersea dominance. We are entering an era of the invisible battlefield. The nation that possesses the most accurate map of the deep ocean floor holds the ultimate strategic advantage. It's not just about where the mountains are, it's about where you can hide and where you can strike from the shadows. The collision in the South China Sea has forced the world's navies to realize that the abyss is changing. Between shifting tectonic plates, rising undersea volcanoes, and the potential for man-made sabotage, the invisible map must be redrawn every single day. As the trench waters continue to hide their secrets, one thing is certain. The next war won't be won by the loudest ship, but the one that knows the terrain of the dark better than anyone else. In the silence of the deep, the ground is the final frontier. Stay vigilant, because in the abyss, what you don't see is exactly what will find you. If you want to see more forensic deep dives into the world's most classified mysteries, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Trench Waters. Your support allows us to continue investigating the truths buried beneath the waves. Turn on the notification bell so you're the first to know when we return to the abyss. Until next time, look past the surface and stay vigilant. Thank you for watching.